Yeah.
Hello and welcome.
It seems like when you fall back into your berserkers,
TFT set
it
to
feels good, but
finale
man, it's not getting
tournament.
those first
So
places here. And
the
we'll
best
see.
players in the
We've
world are
seen a lot of
competing
players going
with
for
the
the
best players
best early, but only a couple.
set
Actually,
two.
no, I guess 3. They were all
Or
stacked
Rod
on top of each other.
yeah. Vest and Rod that time.
So we'll see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting now with the way the
comment
tournament
over,
standings are, if people start doing anything to counter Water Bear specifically, or do we start seeing people, because the other 7 are actually pretty tight.
Right.
Are you playing for second? Are you still playing for firsts? Are you trying to get a big swing? So we'll see if that changes any of their strategies.
Right, and as we're in this first round, we may be able to jump over and see what these players are actually playing for, because the top 4 are actually paying out here with, I believe, $500 going to first place, $250 going to second, $150 going to third, and $100 going to fourth. So it'll be interesting to see if Water Bear actually changes their style of play, because they already have 28 points going into this game 3. So they really just any sort of even middling finishes are going to put them in a very good spot to cash out here.
Why would he do that?
Yeah, now sadly we're going to be on an ocean game again, so I wasn't able to script it and get us one of each.
Maybe he gets cold.
Mort, you got to put in slash mountain on it. I didn't know if you guys knew that, but that's actually how you get a mountain map. You just put in slash mountain into your Riot client.
Yeah, it's real easy. Yeah, so we'll see if that changes. Again, Water Bear here doing the single champ strategy.
And is it going to pay off?
It did. It does. Wow. See, again, Water Bear just showing why he's really good. So that's just, again, another good play there.
Gold.
Yeah, just absolutely masterful. Just knowing that, yes, the 1 cost unit can actually take out the second round. I can high roll, get 3 gold, and just end up getting it's just a small margin, but it's the little things like that that add up to multiple first places and putting Water Bear in a good spot here.
Usually game number 3. You get 1, and then you can.
Yeah, I'll admit I've never risked it
one, you
ever
can get
on the singles. It's just too scary.
I've never done it with a 1 cost or with a 1-star unit. I've obviously done it with 2 stars, which I don't think is even a risk. I think
we'll
it's
see
just...
what he will build.
That's just free. That's just free.
I don't know.
I have not done the risk, at least not on purpose. I have accidentally sold my
I would
first unit on round 1 and just lost.
From my perspective.
What kind of a development team would let that happen? That's messed up.
You know, as someone who it's happened to, I'm glad, because you know what? I never played around. I just keep my hands away from the E button. I'm never even close to doing it, so I learned a very valuable lesson.
Because
so Water Bear pulling off what we talked about is like what everyone's trying to chase after, which is that early Bramble Vest. So we'll see if that allows Water Bear to get off to an early start.
But he needs to upgrade his units. Because
the positioning actually does make sense because of the ocean tile being in that far left front corner. Can the Nasus get his ult off? It's going to be huge if he can. Doesn't.
Super early Israel as well as.
And again, that's that early power of that flat damage to glacial buff.
Yeah, Hydra getting an early Ezreal and an early Braum with a Warmog. That is going to be.
That'll be strong.
That is a tough wall to break down for sure.
She should go for.
The other thing I'll call out is with Rise of the Elements, as you mentioned, the positioning with the elemental tiles have been sort of one of the key features of Rise of the Elements that's going away. So it'll be interesting. I've already seen as people start to play Galaxies, they're just like, where's the hexes? I don't know where to position anymore.
Kind of unlucky.
Yeah, well, you got to think back to us old timers in set 1, where it was very important to keep your carries a certain distance away because of hex tag.
Yeah, but you only had 21 hexes to deal with.
I mean, he will sell one of the pairs.
All these new players have 28.
That's true. They don't know how good they got it.
There's low chance hit 1 pair anyway, so
we do see still early on seeing a lot of Noah's arcing here for Water Bear.
Yeah, he got the item, but not the champs he needed, unfortunately, so wasn't able to pull off. Although he could still win this.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Is the 1-star Nasus gonna be able with the crit from the Ornn?
That's close.
Mid Super Saiyan dog form, not quite able to get the cast off.
Only it's not that good early.
Does hit the 2-star.
Super good. Super.
Okay, that'll be a big power spike.
Yeah. That was the best.
He's got the 2-star. He does have the Ezreal as well if he wants to get the Glacial with the Volley Bear. I feel like he's opting for the Warwick, actually.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I don't think that makes sense, so we'll see if it is.
I was like, man, this is some next level stuff. If you're playing a Warwick over an Ezreal for almost any reason other than Predator, I am very interested to see the reason why.
Ultimate, and he applies on hit effects.
Now, I know it's a little early because it's only round 2, so we'll see what happens after this round, but I'll call out again, Zaza still at 100 again. So... which we saw last time did not really work out as they dropped all the way down to 7.
He might go Morello
and it only barely worked out in game 1 as they did finish 4th, but
he would win streak with it, most likely.
We do see Water Bear pick up their first
because
win
he doesn't
here,
have any other direction.
Going into our first,
might as well
or our second carousel of the game. Looking like Zaza did, still early, but did still keep that 100 health.
Yeah, we'll have to see after the carousel what Zaza's running again, because it has been different comps each time, but they have managed to turn those into a successful win streak just about every time.
At least successful for the early game, though. It is arguable what a successful win streak entails if you end up 7th at the end of the game.
Yeah, I mean, that could just be like, again, are you prioritizing that early win streak, or are you prioritizing getting that 50 gold at Krugs? Which in Rise of the Elements, it seems like the understanding has been the goal is hit 50 gold at Krugs. So.
Definitely a standard
breakpoint
for high-level Rise of the Elements play, which we're seeing a ton of here. And man, I mean, we've seen 2 games here, and I've already seen maybe 3 or 4 different compositions or just choices, item choices, unit choices made that I have literally never done as a plat diamond level player. So you are seeing an absolute masterclass being played in front of you right now. So definitely take that in as we send this set a farewell.
I think he was
in style.
A diamond player.
Yeah, so sure enough, we see a really strong mid-game comp here. The 3 Inferno, 2 Ranger, 2 Warden comp. This is about as good as it can get at level 5. I think the only thing stronger is like the Woodland comp.
Which we have seen Zaza have as well.
Yeah, the real question is, like, what we typically see with this build is we struggle, like, what do you turn it into in the late game?
Right.
Although here, I think Waterbear's going to win this with, that big front line. So
yeah, Super Saiyan Dog is going to be enough.
Double Ezreal with two Glacial.
I mean, it's bad for late game. It's only for
there's another combination I've never run. Never had 2 Ezreals. I guess he wants to win. 2 level 1 Ezreals, though. It obviously makes a lot of sense here for Water Bear, and Zaza falls. We actually see everyone now has fallen at least once. No early win streaks here in this lobby, so even a different lobby than we've seen in the previous 2 games now. No early contenders for a win streak.
Most likely.
Now, one thing here is Zaza did just hit that Twitch, that level 5 Twitch.
I guess he will.
Is a pretty good sign that like maybe you should change this Inferno comp into a Ranger comp.
Right.
They'll need to get the tanky front line because 1-star Nasus and Olaf are not going to cut it. But there's some other pub potentials there.
We'll see what he will do.
Get that IE from that glove from the Kindred. You can get a big Twitch going. So
although
lots
there's
of different
a super
options
low
there.
chance that he will
Interesting here, though. I don't think it's going to matter, but the Ornn placement from Narc has actually prevented the Assassin jump, which was very interesting. Not going to matter, but an interesting placement to have that Ornn on the opposite side.
Unless you actually commit
your opponent's hex to really pull aggro immediately on your tank.
Nice. Okay, so Mismatch Socks finally won that one. So it seems like we have a lot tighter starting lobby. We're seeing people win and lose all across the board. Okay, Broccoli looking like 4 Warden with a Zirin friends.
Gets the early Azir with the Rage Blade, pretty standard here, but Broccoli
he doesn't have any
at the bottom of the lobby right now with 75 health. Decent econ though. Looks like Broccoli had a little bit of a difficulty there, so we're going to actually go to the top of the lobby with Dark Hydra.
He stalled, actually.
Yeah, the Dark Hydra performed really well in the quarters and semis. basically like second and first in both of those groups. So had pretty high expectations for him coming into this.
He's committed to Ezreal.
And looking another player with multiple Ezreals, so very, very contested unit right now.
Yeah, now he also has the 2-star Vayne and has the Varus on the bench. So this is a really easy, like, level 6, 2 Warden, 4 Ranger comp. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to have the items for it. We don't see the shivs. We don't see the IE. Well, we have an IE on the bench, so
he probably wants to
start building
Twitch.
an IE and put it on something like the Vayne, and then hold that until the Twitch.
Kind of contested right now.
Choosing to instead focus just on Glacial.
Poison is
and very interesting hex placement for those ocean hexes as the two opposite frontline corners. So
you don't have it.
Might not be seeing a ton of value out of those for certain comps.
Yeah, it's interesting. This is something even in the development we were talking about a lot, that like sometimes it's going to be okay that the correct choice is completely ignore the elemental hexes. And I think this is one of those times where, as you said, he's running a Ranger comp, doesn't really need Ocean on his front line.
Right.
So instead chooses better positioning for the champions there. Oof. Ezreal trying.
I mean, he's not strong enough, so
the Ezreal needed to hit some very lucky glacial procs there to play that one out, but wasn't quite.
Okay, he's going Azir.
It's an Ashe, an Azir 2, and a Yorick. So this is
he doesn't have Rage Blade.
Oh boy, maybe a pretty big power spike here for Hydra.
Although it's
yeah, I will say I'm a little confused to see the Azir in there, especially when they already have the 4 Rangers on their bench.
Assassins.
So we'll see how that plays out, but Azir's just kind of in there as like a powerful unit, but I think maybe overvaluing that a little bit.
Yeah, not. Oh, looks like they are going to commit some items. QSS, interesting. So that almost makes me think that they might be keeping the Azir here.
Yeah, which again, I find that like a really interesting play. Especially they had the IE, but
it might actually end up panning out because we did see, I think, at least one, if not 2 other players possibly going into Rangers. Though I think they are arguably in the best position to get the Rangers, as they did already have the Ashe, and actually selling that off though. So
you need
they're
good items
into the Azir and friends rather than the Rangers.
Okay, so yeah, actually we've ended up in 3 Summoner, so I will say that 3 Summoner being a pretty big spike here for the Azir, which is nice to see because all the other Azir comps we've seen today haven't really been the Summoner comp.
Right. Yeah, definitely a good shop to hit that Annie, one of the best summoners, to pair with the Azir and the Yorick. So a very good spot here for Hydra. We do see Broccoli actually falling down almost under 50 health already.
So yeah, I saw this as Dark Hydra was scouting, but the double static Shiv Ashe, really good early game build.
Maybe he could
with only 1 star, you have to be careful because you're only getting 3 bounces.
Strike, or
but if you can keep that going, that's a lot of damage.
We probably wait
it is
for
a ton of damage, and Salvi
maybe play J
really going to get a huge power spike when they hit that level 2 Ashe.
Because he needs that Rage
Very
Blade.
close though, actually. Dark Hydra
it's very
almost able to pull that one off, but does fall into second place to Salvi as we move into our 3-4 carousel here.
Unlucky no ball.
Okay, so Broccoli did win that game, so at least they stopped the bleeding with whatever they transitioned to. We should probably take a look after carousel. But being down another 13 health on Zaza, a little rough there.
Yeah, and
maybe now for
sounds like we're getting word that Broccoli's stream is having some issues here, so we're not going to be able to take a direct look at them, but that's okay. We are seeing Zaza actually, for better or for worse, taking a different strategy than they have in the previous 2 lobbies. Not going for that early win streak, or at least not getting it, as they are.
Let's see if it pays off.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely a bold strategy cotton situation here, taking the early losses, but we do see them level up to 7. We'll take a look at Gunmay here, who is doing...
Sorry, Narquez hit 6, but everyone else is starting to hit 7. We saw Braum, we saw Varus.
Super good on Nessus.
Yeah, again, 3-5 is such a great spot to just watch and see what everyone hits. Zaza hit a Braum,
especially if
Mismatch Socks goes
like,
7.
Yeah. Yeah, it is definitely...
MR, he can just
keeping an eye on your opponents, and even just at the high level, the side ticker is such a good strategy.
Well, against
I personally
he will
do a
just
very
melt
bad
them.
job of. As anyone who has watched me play at game night on Fridays, I am terrible at scouting. We see these players obviously doing a lot of scouting, and it is really important
glacial
here.
procs.
So Gunmay won that despite being down a level, which is really good. Got some good glacial procs off that Olaf, running the 6 Berserker. But until he can 2-star that Olaf, I don't think that'll last very long.
Yeah, it's the double-edged sword, because they're a little bit on the weaker side right now, but that does mean they are in a position where they have a lot of upgrades that they can actually get. So it's a position that I kind of like to be in personally, where I have the potential, right? I can see where I'm going. If I hit this Olaf or if I hit this Scion, I'm going to be in a very, very good spot for at least a few more rounds.
Yep. Yeah, and as you mentioned, as they were scouting, did see a lot of Ranger players this lobby. So.
Yeah, so definitely going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
In this particular lobby,
it's super hard to play
we'll
against
see
Rangers.
if they potentially maybe go for the assassin variant of the Berserkers. If they can get a spatula, maybe make Olaf an assassin. They can potentially counter that out a little bit, but it is going to be tough, as the Rangers are a bit of a natural counter to the Berserkers.
Yeah, so I want to call out Waterbear, by the way, there with his Nasus is
super fast
doing a lot of work and is now currently in first again.
You need to kill
and that Nasus like really hard wrecked the Berserkers that last fight we watched.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely, and big Nasus is a very good early game unit to stem a lot of that bleeding. And if you have that Morello's on him, it's really going to be a good damage source in the early game.
Yep. All right, so here's another break point at 4-1 where we can just watch the sidebar and see what everyone hits. Yep. There's a bunch of 7. Kiana, yep.
Marquez hitting 7. Hydra hitting 7. Gunmay hitting the Mundo here. Gunmay hitting the Scion as well. So we're seeing the Olaf.
There's the Olaf. So I have to imagine that's a massive power spike for Gunmay.
Yep, and the
Thornmail
plus Morello
he's not going to play.
The Nasus is certainly going to be a big damage dealer for Waterbear, who again is in first place in this lobby right now, and also in first place in the event right now. So I haven't done the math, and we'll keep my NA caster math to a minimum here, but I believe if they secure the first place here in this game, that might secure them first place overall. So Waterbear putting themselves in a great position.
A couple things I want to call out here, really smart from Waterbear, who has already just proven to be a really good player here. Puts the redemption on Nasus, giving him a chance to heal back to full during the spell cast. Really smart play. Also has the Hurricane on Ezreal while running 4 Glacial, which is giving even more damage to those auto attacks and to those procs. So just, again, really creative use of the items here.
Though he doesn't have
giving that great front line. Like, this is just such a really good comp.
So he's super slow.
Yeah, it's a very good transition. It actually gets a small upgrade here with the Olaf over the Warwick for the 4 Glacial.
Yeah, if you're strong enough, you should go.
Not going to be itemizing the Olaf, but it's still going to be a little bit of an annoying piece for his opponents here.
You need those legendary units.
We see Broccoli. We do get a glimpse into Broccoli's comp here in last place. Does have a pretty itemized Azir 2 here, so wondering if that Azir can pop off and actually get the win streak rolling for him.
Now, unless my memory is deceiving me, I might be mixing up games. Broccoli was the one who hard committed to that Ginsu's pretty early, right?
You know, it might very well may be. These games are blurring together a bit for me as well.
But yeah, we're seeing that.
I think it was last game, but
so
I'm sure the chat will be correcting us as quickly. But we are what we like to call esports boomers, as people who are older than 22.
Straightforward.
I should have kept notes.
Relatively boring, I guess.
But yeah, oh wow. So we also have, by the way, we have Running Man with Book here, with the Olaf as well. So Gunmay hit really key upgrades. If this comp is ever going to win,
maybe Glacial.
He's definitely got some of them. He's also got the Last Whisper on the Olaf,
not too much.
letting Olaf shred through any wardens he's up against.
Right, and here's the test. I mean, it's the Rangers comp with a Shadow Lux as well.
Oh,
and that Shadow Lux just negates so much of those units, but it doesn't matter. Or Gunmay, those berserkers are just too strong right now.
Yeah, now this is old news, but GA on Olaf is so good because it allows him to cast, drop aggro, get a bunch of lifesteal back when he reses back up because he keeps his anger form. So just really key itemization there on Olaf to make him work.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, I mean, if they can continue this win streak or continue this power spike
he actually
going into the late game, I'm wondering if it's going to how it is going to fare against these Rangers players. Though there are a few, so they might actually cannibalize themselves a bit, leaving a space open for berserkers. But like you mentioned before, Mort, it is sort of the Rangers sort of naturally beat the berserkers heads up. So
personally, I don't like denying people.
This comp ends up playing out in this lobby.
Now Broccoli is at 13, which again, you gotta stay alive before those raptors so you can get your final batch of items. So hopefully he can pull it off and stay alive that long. But we haven't really seen a lot of success today out of any Azir comps.
Screw yourself.
So I'm starting to wonder if like by now people should be staying away from the Azir, letting other people have it. This is looking pretty rough right now.
Don't run it
yeah, we have not. I mean, we've seen some middling success with the Azir, but it has certainly not been in either of the first place comps, and has really led at least a couple of players astray and really sort of baited them into early committing to it.
But
okay, so this was the Azir we saw earlier. This was the Summoner Azir.
Yes, this is Broccoli, who looks like we're back on here.
Yeah.
Azir getting stunned by the Kiana is not what they wanted to see. It looks like
he doesn't have a choice.
The Azir is putting out a decent amount of damage, but not gonna quite be enough.
If anything, Kha'Zix is doing the work here.
Right.
I think Broccoli barely lives this.
Yeah, it looks
like because there's not much on the field, so I think he lives.
Yeah, surviving at a mere 6 health. Absolutely needs to pull out a win, but I don't even know what they can.
He can't get any stronger.
They rolled here, but I don't even know what they could pick up
at this point.
Not really a lot of.
He can't level.
Not a lot of room to upgrade here.
Oh, that's a rough game for Broccoli.
To get it, so.
For sure, and I mean Narquez as well, also sub 20. And Gunmay actually on the opposite side with his berserkers actually on the win streak at 67. Narquez
he checks
also in critical position here. Does have an early Zed, which is itemized out quite well, but is it going to be enough? It does have the 3 electric, but a 1-star Zed,
with
not the strongest in the world.
Yeah, and I feel like that Ashe in particular is going to give him a lot of trouble.
Damage just because he has 3 electric,
and sure enough,
he himself doesn't do that.
Still does have 1 copy alive. Summons another, kills the Kindred. Now
he got it.
Looks like it's going to be elementary here, unless this Braum goes completely ham. Not going to happen though. Yeah. Stays alive another day against one of the top players in the. Oh, actually no. Salvia is no longer one of the top players. Actually, near the bottom. And Broccoli, unfortunately, did fall in 8th place here. So that early Azir commit.
He also
won Raptor's death always feels bad.
Yeah, it is unfortunately all too familiar for me, but it's certainly not where you want to be when playing in tournament play.
Yeah. Now Gunmay, again, with those berserkers, he hit that, Running Man with Book, he hit that Olaf with the GA. So he's definitely hit that, like, almost optimal berserker comp. Ooh, a Nico.
I think
the Nico for the Zed.
I don't know.
Now what if when the Zed what if Nico's worked where when the Zed makes a clone you can use a Nico's and have it combine into a level 2 on the field? That would be.
Yeah.
I think you should put that in.
He didn't hit the Zed, so he's in this really awkward position where he needs to stay alive, but has to spend I think he's kind of desperately searching for the Zed at this point.
Mm-hmm. Did not quite find it.
I feel like here you use the Nico on the Tarek. Like, I know.
Yep.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, that's greedy.
This is another. Are you going to play to try to win, or are you going to play to not lose? And I feel like, I mean, the Tarek is not a bad unit to invest in either way. So
as well,
definitely a risk here.
2-star Tarek is so strong. Like I get he's running a Zed comp, but Zed can do a lot by just being a body here. I don't know that he needs 2-star Zed.
Do a lot by being multiple bodies here, as we're seeing multiple Zeds. Does end up surviving. Now, I'm wondering, are they going to commit the Nikos? Oh, he just gets the Tarek.
Tarek for free. Sometimes that happens.
Shows us for for saying to commit to it.
He is now 1 unit short in his army.
Wow.
He is level 7. He's level 8, but only 7 units, and there's nothing one cost in the shop.
Omega low. That is an interesting.
Meanwhile, Water Bear, by the way, just hit level 9.
Wow. So, Water Bear running away with it here.
Okay, the Tarek should keep everyone alive here.
Oh, but the Zed is outside. Luckily, the Zed wasn't being targeted. The Zed was outside of the Terror. Unfortunately, big
game unless he gets Zephyred.
Applies Morales to the whole team and just clean up here for the Zed army. Actually puts mismatched socks into 7th place right now at 10 health. He finds another Tarek in the shop
with 1 health essentially.
I'll also call out that Gunmay's Berserker comp has started to fall off hard. Must not have hit any upgrades recently. Down to 36 health there.
Ocean.
So
one Ocean is good.
Yeah, last we saw Gunmay, they were pretty much maxed out in terms of the power level that they could get to. Now we're actually also seeing Gunmay going for the Zed, so not going to be doing Narquez any favors by also taking the Zeds.
Oh, Singed.
Another Singed here.
Singed with Morello.
Yeah, so this is Water Bear's really creative again. And creative use of Ezreal, creative use of Glacial. Hitting the Seraphs also here is going to make Ezreal a pretty big powerhouse.
He might as well do more damage than
Ezreal as a carry. And the beauty of Ezreal is that you can actually invest in him and not feel too bad, but also you can have him be an item carry in the mid game. And Water Bear just putting on a clinic right now.
Yeah, Seraph's Ezreal was definitely one of my favorite champs from the set. So.
Zed too.
There's a Seraph's Zed in the shop. Narquez could not have been running for it faster, but didn't actually get it. Dark Hydra steals it. And Narquez is just...
he's got to be frustrated with that.
Survive for long because he
has a nightmare scenario here where they see the Zed.
Also, Sojin is good.
They absolutely critically need. And they just can't get it, and they don't even get their second item choice. So Narquez just in a world of hurt right now unless they can find that Zed. And even if they do, it may be too little too late. They've been rolling down for it every turn for the past 3 or 4 rounds, and economy is shot at this point.
Yeah, I feel like there's already too many Zeds on the board elsewhere also, so...
We'll see.
Yeah, now he can't even get the... he could sell the Thresh, buy the Nami, and Nico at there. That's basically his only play here.
And be at 7 out of 8.
Be at 7 out of 8 again.
Oh, he's
doing it.
Going for it and actually chooses to... Okay, chooses to...
He sold the 2-star version.
Volley Bear, okay.
Interesting choice.
Mm-hmm.
But he does hit that 2-star Nami, so...
And now... I think if he survives here, it's guaranteed that there's a Zed in the shop. I think that's just
up against the top of the lobby though. That's pretty rough. And the Nami wave misses the Ezreal.
Ooh. But the Zed's still doing work. Does end up killing the Ezreal. The 2-star army doing a ton of work, and the Zed army is actually going to clean up and take down Water Bear.
2 other people got knocked out in the meantime.
5.
Yeah, that's actually got to be best case scenario for Narquez as Zaza and Mismatched Socks both fall out here. And if I'm Narquez, I think you're just counting your blessings at this point because you're playing with house money now. I don't think you can ask for better than a 5th place given the scenario.
The other crazy thing I have to point out, Water Bear is in first. Worst case, he probably gets fourth. That's looking real good for Water Bear.
Yeah, I think Water Bear is starting to spend their winnings already. They've got it lined up, but it's still, man.
Ooh, the Braum blocks the Nami
That's why
wave.
Braum is so good. I love Braum. He can block.
That's crazy.
That's always
so
a
much
tilted.
damage. As
Yeah,
well as,
man. When the level 2 unit just counters your level 5 and not quite.
For example, Braum
in the stars for Narcaz, but man, the 5th place has got to be it's got to be a happy finish for Narcaz considering the circumstances.
Yeah,
Water Bear still in first place right now at 56 health, but Salvi actually on a win streak right now at 31 health, and we're starting to see. I mean, Salvi also with the Ezreal, but actually still has that same level 1 Ashe that he had at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, that's super bad. At least they have the poison though, so all these Zeds that are running around, they should be able to do okay against.
Right.
It's actually the Berserker comp. Actually, he counters Berserkers pretty heavily too. So it's maybe Water Bear's Ezreal that he's actually the most afraid of. Although there's the Ashe finally.
Yeah, finally got his Ashe. He does actually have 2 Zeds.
Or
Narcaz had to die to donate the Zeds.
Well.
It's a level 2 Taric as well, which is a huge upgrade for Salvi here, as now a lot of his team is going to be saved by that tier 2 Taric ult.
I could be misreading this, but I think what Salvi's doing is actually like really correct here, which is that I think he's buying the Zeds to simply prevent them from going anywhere else. I don't think he has any intent in running them.
Singed.
No, I mean at this point you're costing yourself an econ at this point in the game. How much is that actually worth? Probably not as much as keeping your Zed opponents off of a tier 2 Zed, which is a huge upgrade.
For sure.
So definitely
Gunmei
all there, and Gunmei getting taken out by Salvi as well. So see if Water Bear actually also with the W and Water Bear.
Water Bear first or second, regardless, has to be happy with this outcome.
Yeah, I mean, Water Bear can feel free to go get a drink and come back for the next round, because it does not matter what they get here. Really, Water Bear just playing spoiler at this point for the rest of the lobby. But Salvi still in the running here. I know they had a weak finish.
Big upgrade.
Now also getting that level 2 Taric, which is going to be huge as well.
And he doesn't need Crystal.
I'll also call out, by the way, the singed itemization here with the double Gunblade. Pretty fascinating. But if Gunblade worked with Morello, that would be an unkillable singed.
Oh boy. Yeah, that would be just a ton. Being like not quite going to be enough. Looking like that Ashe actually just in the back line for Salvi is just too much for Water Bear to take out. But Water Bear still in first here. Salvi on the 7 win streak. He's going to have to win at least a couple more like that.
Yeah, I feel like Salvi's running the 10-4 comp that everyone was saying was the best. Or was it 10-3? This was the Poison Crystal 4 Ranger. Just, you have all the expensive units. You've got the 2-star Taric. You've got the 2-star Singed.
Does he need it? I don't know.
He's got a Crystal Lux in
no,
the
I
shop.
don't think he needs it. Because,
my goodness.
The damage comes from...
He's
like
over it.
Karma there. I feel like you sell Karma, or at least the Zeds. Especially because Water Bear's already hit his 2-star Zed. Right. Now you're not really countering anything.
You would play it.
Yeah, so there you go. And you buy that Crystal Lux.
I doubly wanted him to do that, because now it opens up Water Bear to get the 3 stars.
What can he replace in this case?
That would be fascinating.
Which I would accept, even in lieu of 6 Woodland. I would accept a 3-star Zed as well.
Did he lock shop?
No, he sold the Zeds and bought the Lux, I believe.
Okay. So yeah. Getting that Ionic Spark on the Zed was definitely what Water Bear's plan was there.
My bad.
I think he sells the Karma here. Oh, the Malphite, really?
Why was there a Malphite?
Interesting. Looking like
he values that Karma shield.
The Crystal is not going to help that much. Actually,
yeah, he's valuing that Karma shield really highly.
instead of 250 from.
Because again, that attack speed boost, 50% attack speed on the Ash is a lot of damage, no question.
60.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be. It should be.
I'm wondering what Water Bear can do here to actually pull out the victory. As Salvi has won the last two against him.
I mean, Ionic Spark Zed here is a good upgrade for sure.
If Zed had,
but I mean, you have to really get on that Ash and.
Oh.
Who does actually take out the Ash, but the Twitch is there.
Oh,
that's why
up the
Crystal
pieces.
didn't really matter because
all of those stacks from all of those
Singe is
killed
doing the most damage.
Yeah, Water Bear's doing his best for 3 in a row, but I mean, again, you can't be upset with a second place here.
I mean, at this point, he's just going for style points. So this game might actually mean more to him than any of the others, because it's like, I don't only want to win the set 2 finale. I want to ace it. I want to get the perfect score.
That would be quite impressive.
Although, I will say shame on him for not going for the 3-star Zed, even though it was clearly incorrect to go for it. I'm personally upset that he didn't go for it.
That would be quite a way to finish. All right, if Singed walks, see, Singed just keeps missing the Ash there, unfortunately.
He is missing the Ash,
just to defer this unit, so
there's not that much that's targeting him until it does.
Ash.
Yeah, I was about to say that Ash is
that's why you shouldn't
so much damage. So
right,
that Ash taking it out.
Backline Twitch.
Salvi with the first,
so we'll see you
Water Bear
next game
with the second.